Wow. Wow. That is an epic intro. That's one of the most epic intros of all time. My mind is blown. My mind is blown of the awesomeness. Oh my
Well, it's just something I come up with, on the fly. Thank
Sounds like he's
you.
a
Thank
professional.
you. Well,
Yeah.
everybody, welcome to the entertainment headquarters and welcome to the Retro Classic Movie Show, my brand new segment where I have a co-host, that man right there, the fantastic DJ Anubis from the Metal Tavern Radio, and joining me, we have a special guest to celebrate the launch of this new segment. Of course, it is the one and only That Phat Samurai Guy,
The
Preston
man,
Downey.
the myth, the legend.
Nothing is over. Nothing.
Nothing!
You just don't turn it off. It wasn't my war. What is going on? It is a huge honor to be on this channel, man. You have been kicking ass and taking names, my brother. Congratulations.
Well,
And, content, you guys need to subscribe. Are you guys watching right now? Subscribe because the content is
Click the like button.
flourishing. Kevin and Anubis, subscribe to both of their channels, please, because they both are awesome, especially if you're a metal music
Yeah,
fan.
I really need more help than the rest of these mofos. So,
But these guys here are actually more consistent than I am with my own channel. They got their trailer reactions and movie reviews way up.
but see, you put in all the hard work already, so you laid the groundwork for everyone else.
Yes, and you are the master of the podcast. You have some amazing guests. I get jealous when I see some of those independent filmmakers, stuntmen, you name it, on your channel, because you just don't think they would just come on YouTube and be a part of like channels like ours. And they love the fans, they love to connect with the people, and you're bringing them to the people.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother.
So,
I'm very fortunate and honored to have those filmmakers there. And always honored to have Anubis as a guest as well. And Anubis, we're going to have fun tomorrow, brother. Yeah, man, on the next episode of Versus. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right here.
I mean, speaking of I just want to point this out. This is the reason why I went and bought this book, is because Mr. Samurai interviewed Patrick Kilpatrick, one of the best villain actors you'll ever see in film. So, yes.
Yeah.
Can't kill
so fun. So fun.
Jedi Grand is watching right now. What's going on, Jedi Grand? Yeah. All right. Look at that epic Godzilla statue in the back there. That is amazing.
It is.
We also have...
Cover up my statues. They put my statues to shame. Let me cover it up.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Well, hopefully one day I'll have a wall like yours, but we'll also have Tyler joining us from the Movie Dojo Army, I believe. So, yes, and like you mentioned, we have the fantastic Jedi Granville joining us, who is a very good friend of ours. But as you know, we are here. This is the show where we talk about everything retro, from movies. Oh, Sexy Sumo has arrived.
Hey, Samurai, is that is your most expensive piece back here that cat house I see at the bottom?
Yes, that's about $5,000 at little cat. and they don't, and then in typical cat fashion, they don't use it.
Right.
Open
that box over there is what they're in.
Yeah.
The best thing to use is a used Amazon box. But
Kevin knows.
Yes.
Yep, I've got 3 of the little fuckers. And so I know all about it. So anyway, this is the Retro Classic Movie Show. This is where I choose a film, or Anubis will choose a film, anywhere from the 80s up to the early 2000s. You name it. It could be action, sci-fi, whatever. And I wanted to celebrate the launch of this segment by one of my personal favourites. And it is, of course, First Blood.
Last Blood, yes.
Right.
Why you gotta push me, man? Why you gotta push me?
Oh, what a classic. What a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, initially, can you remember your first time viewing First Blood?
Who's going first?
You go first.
Him or me?
Anubis.
Okay. Yeah, I was probably about 13 or 14. So, 84. It was probably on HBO or something at that point. Enjoyed the shit out of it. It's funny though, because as I'm looking at it in retrospect, like, and I don't know if you guys agree, but the movie itself is aged like a lot better than most films from that time period, mainly because what they thought was like just like your ordinary action film. Like, even though it started like the whole Rambo is God thing after that, it became more about PTSD and stuff like that, which, a lot of people, I see reactions to it now, a lot of people, younger people, like, they really get moved by Stallone's performance in the film, and that monologue at the end, like, it really, really brings people to tears. I still get weepy about it.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like, the most surprising thing about this film is, for me, is the director of it, and he directed A Weekend at Bernie's. Two different films, and I was in awe that he directed this as well as that. But let's get on with it and talk about this epic movie. Samurai, you didn't see when you first got to see this film.
Yeah, I'll be there in 1 second. Ted Kotcheff is the director, and I just watched this movie last year. This was a wild movie he made, and it was banned. Yeah. It was banned for many years. It's called Wake and Fright with Donald Pleasance. I think it's on Shudder. Yeah, check that out. Wake and Fright is it's it's interesting, but it's pretty good. Wake and Fright's pretty. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't as fortunate as Anubis watching it on HBO. Good old edited pan and scan TV version. That's the only way I could watch movies back then, unfortunately. But oh yeah, when I watched this with my dad when I was really young, and he loved the movie. He knew about it, and it was great, man. It's all about the police precinct scene when they were kind of torturing him, and he fought. He just lost it because he's had that, like you mentioned, Kevin, the PTSD moments, and he was having flashbacks of being in Nam, and he just beats the shit out of the cops and escapes. That's when I was in. That's because at first, I'm like, when you're young and stupid, you're like, this is boring. There's nothing happening. There's some guy walking around. He gets picked up by a cop and he gets arrested. But then when that happened, I was like, woo, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat eating some popcorn, and I was all in. And then, of course, seeing it unedited later, thank God, on VHS, I was like, oh, shit, he really beat the shit out of those cops. Because when you watch that on TV, that is like throw, slap, kick, and he's already out of the door. There's no them getting thrown through windows. There's no elbows to the dome. All that's cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what, though, Samurai? There actually is a piece of trivia. So the guy that plays Lester, Alf Humphreys, Stallone apparently accidentally broke his nose during the jail escape scene, which is why he has the Band-Aid over his nose.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. Was that the elbow to the face?
Yeah, when he was getting out. Yeah, he didn't mean to do it, but that's what ended up happening. So, like, it was kind of funny.
Wow. But what a fantastic cast. Everyone perfectly casted in this movie.
Absolutely. I remember this came out in 1982. I was born in 1983, so I didn't see this till about 5 or 6, maybe. I was young when I seen this. I was probably about 8 or 9. And obviously, like a young kid, you don't understand what's going on. And when I initially seen the police in the police precinct and how they were treating him, I didn't, and I never thought that they were bullying him or being too rough with him. It wasn't until I got older that I actually took in the full brunt of what was going on in them scenes. And, the PTSD moments and things. So it's a very powerful movie, like, for its time. What it was trying to explain and, convey to the audience. And other films since then have taken on, basically, and have been influenced by this. And obviously what Sylvester Stallone and the cast were able to do in this epic film.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jedi Grand's bringing it up right now. I was getting ready. He beat me to the punch. And Nubis knows about it too. The 3-hour cut of this film apparently was shite. Apparently, the 3-hour version of this movie was so bad they were embarrassed. Like they were like, "This is going to bomb." And I believe Anubis, help me out here. Was it Stallone that was like, "All right, let me help out with the editing and let's try trim the fat," kind of like what Van Damme did with Bloodsport. Like afterwards, he like let's make this more exciting. Let's get the pacing better. So they tweaked and obviously took some stuff out because it's 3 hours, 3 hour and a half.
According to the trivia, it was so bad that Stallone felt sick and that he wanted to buy the movie and destroy it.
Isn't that insane?
So then he convinced them to cut out a lot of his stuff. So I think initially we were going to get something that was more from Rambo's perspective, but he said, "You know what? Let's go more from the narrative from the other people around him, which is the cops, and everyone else, Richard Crenna."
Yeah.
So they were able to save it, and I would thank God they did because the movie came out massively great.
And
but it's hard to imagine though that he was going to go and destroy that film.
That's insane.
Yeah, and also another thing I didn't know till I looked up some things is that this was based on a novel that came out in 1972, and in the 70s they tried to make this novel into a book a couple of times, and it just didn't work. And then obviously Stallone and obviously everyone got together, and they probably had the same with what you're seeing with Stallone wanting to buy the movie and maybe destroy it. He probably felt the same as the previous people who were attempted to make the film or the book, adapt it, and probably thought, "Oh, this is not how I expected it to be, and I don't think it's working." But then, unknown to him, he had a success on his hands.
Right. It's a good example of why the 3-hour cut didn't work. Did you watch the deleted scene, Anubis, about when he's in the cave, and having a flashback of him back during Nam, and he was in the bar with his buddies, like singing and dancing and drinking.
Oh no, I didn't ever see that.
Rambo had a stash. He had a mustache. And what's crazy is I rewatched it the other day, and the girl he ended up getting with, the girl he ended up getting with in that after they hooked up at the bar, they ended up hooking up later, if you know what I mean, is the girl from Big Trouble in Little China, the girl with green eyes. Yeah, the same actress. I was like, oh my god, it's the same actress from Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, which one is it? Kim Cattrall or the Asian chick?
The Asian chick.
Asian one, yeah.
Okay.
And that did not work at all, because you have that great scene where he's talking to Colonel Troutman. They drew first blood, not me, right? I just wanted something to eat, But it was all, that king shit cop, All I wanted was something to eat, right? And that was such a great scene. And after that ends, it fades in and out of him thinking about him being in the bar, drinking with his buddies, and then getting laid, and then it comes back to him in the cave. It did not work.
Yeah,
it did not work.
Maybe there were some elements of the 3-hour cut that are glad that they aren't in the actual finished film. But going back to the cast, though, I'll just quickly have a look at the cast. So you had Sylvester Stallone, you had Richard Crenna, and then you had Brian. I can never get his name. Dennehy. Yeah. I love that actor. I absolutely love him.
Underrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta check out the FX movies if you've never seen them. They're great.
Oh, do you have the double pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get that at some point.
Like, I think it's horrible to say this, but the people who don't know him that well will probably only know him for this and say Cocoon. But I've seen him in a lot of stuff that's underrated, that doesn't get appreciated, and he also Tommy Boy, absolutely. And one of his last ever credits that he did on screen is I watched the full seasons of The Blacklist, and he plays.
Oh, that's right.
He's on there.
He's in The Blacklist, the television show. And he plays a very crucial character, and I think he comes in around series 4, and then he returns up in a couple of the later seasons, and he's fantastic in that. So for me, he's a very underrated actor that deserves a lot more praise. But yeah, the initial story where, you know, he's just coming into town wanting to meet up with an old, you know, Vietnam buddy and finds out he's passed away, and then he's just trying to make his way in the world or to find direction somewhere, and then he's obviously then the sheriff of the town immediately just takes a dislike into him, which is like, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, because basically he gets his ass kicked at the end of the film by him. But so the initial what the first time that John Rambo basically, obviously when he's been vexed, you know, I've talked about how he comes into the town, he gets arrested, and you know they're being jerks to him, basically, the police. And then when he initially escapes, what I found amazing is that there's a scene where the sheriff goes, "I've got a quiet town, nothing really happens, yeah, we want to keep it that way." And then he's blazing down the road in his copper car, and he's going through fences, he's smashing through fields, he ends up down the ravine, tipped over in the car, and then that's, for me, this is my favourite part of the film, where they don't realise how dangerous John Rambo is. And they initially go after him into the woods, and he set up all these booby traps. For me, it's
you know, some people have said that, you know, it is a quiet town, but what ends up happening is because of the action and the way that Rambo escapes, it's almost like it's a whole weekend warrior thing. Everyone thinks they can go and get this guy and don't realize, as you said, how dangerous he really is until they're like, "Oh, Green Beret? Yeah, there's some mean motherfuckers there. You don't want to be messing with Green Berets, man."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Green Beret.
Young David Caruso.
That's
David
great.
Caruso.
So I did get some stills from the film. So I got this one. This is obviously when he initially picks him up, and he's, you know, being a smart ass with Rambo, and he's basically saying to him, you know, "This is my town," kind of thing. But this was one of my favourite scenes in the film, after the majority of the, you know, the booby traps in the forest, when he gets the knife.
Yeah,
I absolutely love this. This is the all-time favourite scenes, where it's the initial start, and then the rest of the movie after that, obviously the Colonel comes in, and he's basically saying, "Do you know who you're messing with?"
Yeah.
And
his line is like the best. Like, "Oh, I didn't come to save Rambo from you. I came to save you from him."
Do you guys think that trope started with this movie? Where you have that trope? Because it happened again later in Commando, where his superior came in. And if you find there's a deleted scene where he does almost the same, like a similar speech. You know?
Someone did mention that this movie did kind of kick off the entire action movie thing. They feel like this is the one that kind of initiated it all.
It's like, I agree with what you're saying though, Preston, how like it kind of created that theme within the action genre of being like a one-man army type, you know, the action like pattern, where every action star might have had a team, or something happened that, or he was against a hell of a group of villains, and you just took them out one by one. Like John Van Damme done it, Steven Seagal done it. Like, I could have even said that with, say, Under Siege, with Steven Seagal as the chef, and he just went round taking everybody out.
Just a cook. Just a little cook.
Just to
check my pies.
Get my pies out the oven.
Yeah.
But the whole trope of them talking about the guy like he's a mythical figure, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a scene in On Deadly Ground with Seagal's On Deadly Ground where I think it's Arlie Ermey says, because he knows about his past, so he like gives this whole ridiculous speech. I think Steven Seagal wrote the script for that movie. This whole ridiculous speech of how amazing the guy is. But yeah. Anyway, back to First Blood.
I never knew that it was called Hope the Town. So that is quite something I never knew.
Yeah.
And then there's a line that the Colonel said that's my favourite line, when he goes, I think he says something along the lines of, "God didn't create Rambo, I created Rambo." And that's when he has his initial conversations with the sheriff of the town, which I absolutely loved. And then obviously get past the initial attacks.
Yeah.
And then we head forward where they bring in all these armed guards, and then I found it funny. This is where they blow up. Is it the main? He's at a main, and they blow the main up, and they trap him inside.
Yeah. With the National Guard.
Yeah.
That hilarious scene, because those guys were just a bunch of knuckleheads.
What was the?
You gotta be at the drugstore tomorrow.
Yeah, what was the magazine they were talking about being on the cover of?
I forgot.
God damn!
Yeah. But yeah, they're doing all posing like they're a bunch of badasses.
Right.
Like, I just found that hilarious. Like you say, they're standing there and they're all goofing about like proper goofballs. It's like they haven't got a clue what they're doing. So the initial thing is to kill Rambo, as we'll send a bazooka into the main.
Bullseye. With this, I'm sure Anubis could agree with me. With this movie and its premise and setup, with a small tweak, this movie could be a goddamn horror film. With a small tweak, and I want to revisit that when we get to the original ending and we talk about it. When we get there, I want to bring something up because it could, especially when you compare this to the book and what things happen in the book. You may not like Rambo by the end of the book.
Yeah, they could have,
which was interesting.
Like if you can think of like Predator, that got quite dark at times. I know it's like an alien creature in the jungle, but even though we had some really good brutal traps, I think he could have been a lot darker in how he executed things, and they could have made it like a proper gory, more suspenseful
small
film.
tweak.
Yeah, just a
he like hung up the guy by his neck, so that just debate the other.
I always love the tree booby trap, man, with the spikes. That shit is so great.
Yeah,
and
that dude was hating life, man.
The way he's picking people off, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
even took the dogs out.
And it's
what you're trained to do.
Yep.
Even though I understand the Colonel. Even though I understood the Colonel, I sometimes thought the Colonel, in his own way, was afraid of Rambo himself, because he's basically saying, "I trained him. He's trained to kill," and it's like he's actually worried what he's capable of doing now that he's basically off the leash and in the middle of this woodland area, which would have been a good thing to show on screen.
What did the Colonel say to the sheriff? He's all like, I'm surprised he left all of you alive. He slipped up. He slipped up.
Oh, he's mad. The best guy lost.
And he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Oh, man.
And then, obviously, he's in the main after this point, and then he's basically trying to find a way out. And there's a scene in the main that I know somebody who has to not watch this scene because she's terrified of rats. When he gets attacked by the rats, and how he's initially putting together all his equipment, like how he makes the torch to get out of the actual mine and things. It's all real inventive stuff and really great cinematography, in my opinion, because it's showcasing real life, maybe potential survival skills, as well as showing how he can adapt to any surrounding that he's a part of.
Yeah. And it's set up earlier by Colonel Troutman, He knows how to survive the weather, to live off the land, to eat things, to make a billy goat puke. I mean...
he's doing everything he can to get those cops like, just turn around, go back home, dude. Let this guy go.
Yeah.
You mean me and my 200 men sent out there can't stop one guy? You send that many, you better remember one thing. What is that? Better have a great big supply of body bags. It's so great. It's so good. I miss movies like this now.
Yeah.
I really do.
You don't get movies like this, especially with the one-liners. Like, these one-liners are classic and they're fun, where some of the one-liners in modern action films just feel very forced and very cheap. Where these just feel authentic and real, and it's like true-to-life things that he's talking about, the body bag and stuff. So he gets out of the main, and then he assaults some poor man in the truck going back to the police station.
Don't look at me. Look at the road. That's how accidents happen.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was great. And then the action begins. He whips out that gun, and man, the town is toast.
Mm-hmm. Like he literally destroys the gun store and sets up basically a town fire. Yeah. It's just a bleed. And I think the sheriff literally knows his number's up, because instead of staying in the actual police station, he thinks he's safer by going to the roof. Yeah. And he should know he's there's no hella high water. He's fucked.
Yeah. And the colonel tries to warn him. He's like, you couldn't do anything with 200 men. What are you going to do now? Just leave. But he's what you call stubborn, man. Brian Dennehy's character is stubborn. Mm-hmm. And listen to me. This is my town. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give it up to you or Rambo. So you stay the hell out of my way. Brian Dennehy could have really just played this part and never acted again. And we still would have remembered him for this part.
I did find some interesting trivia about that character, though, because apparently, I don't know if it's in the book or not. It might be, but apparently Weasel's resentment towards Rambo was that Weasel was in the Korean War, and no one really talks about it. But then everybody was talking about the Vietnam War, so there was like this resentment that, either everybody was feeling bad for the Vietnam soldiers or whatever. But that apparently was the original backstory to why he was being such a dick to Rambo. But I think the way they did it was actually kind of better. Like, I think not having that part of it in there was a pretty good idea to take that out.
Right. And Jedi Graham the Jerry Goldsmith, the classic Jerry Goldsmith score. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's so good. And that classic theme song. Now, with Jerry, when Last Blood came out, was Jerry Goldsmith still alive, or he was gone by then? I think.
I think he might have been still alive. I think.
Well, anyway, I think they reused at least the themes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did giggle once, well, more than once, when after the initial fight with the sheriff's over and he finally gives up, and we have that amazing monologue within the police station about what he's been through, how he feels he's been treated, how he doesn't really belong to the world anymore, kind of thing. And he's walking away with the colonel. I only ever thought that when I first seen this film it was that epic score, but then you have the score with the lady singing or the gentleman singing, and I'm not gonna lie, it's proper 80s. I just giggled.
Yeah. It's a long road when you're on your own. Don't worry, I don't want to chase away your viewers and try to sing the song. I'm not going to do that again. But no, it fits perfect for the time, and I'm actually surprised it wasn't sung by Frank Stallone.
Right.
I think Frank Stallone did the end credit song for. As much as I love the second movie, that end credit song is not good for Rambo 2, Electric Boogaloo. That song is not good. But I think Frank sung that one. But no, classic song, classic movie. And, despite the fun action, and a fun fact, especially after you watch Rambo 4, which I love to death. I love Rambo 4. I don't care
for me, that is the best one outside of the...
Which one?
The fourth Rambo.
The fourth
I don't
one.
care what anyone says.
2008? Oh, dude, that is the best. That last 15 minutes, dude, is nuts.
It's so good.
That made the whole film for me, right? The whole franchise was right there. That was just so fun.
And I love the concept in that movie of a broken Rambo.
Yeah.
He literally says, fuck the world in that movie. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. But anyway, when people think of Rambo, even if they haven't even watched the movies, they'll think of like Rambo 4. They'll think huge body count and all that crazy stuff. What's funny and fun fact with the first movie, he only killed one person.
Yep.
Even though he has this big ass gun on the cover.
Yep.
He only kills one person, by defense. It was self-defense too,
Yeah. Well, he made up for it. in the next film.
Oh yeah. It's sky's the limit on the next one.
Yeah, but they were really bad people in the second film.
Oh yeah. I think James Cameron helped write the script in the second one. I'm not sure about that though.
That makes sense. It's pretty action packed.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that Stallone, he's kind of lost kind of the rights of a character he created, which is Rocky. But does he still have some connection with the Rambo character? Is he still able to produce or do stuff with the Rambo character? Because I heard rumbling that he initially had ideas to do do another film which would take him back. Yeah,
no,
don't do it. Should have stopped it before.
No.
Yeah, well, there's two ideas he's thinking of doing. One is, as you know, he grew up on an Indian reservation. So the initial idea I heard is that he's thinking about doing if he does the next one, where he goes back to the family reservation that he grew up on. Apparently, that is an idea that I read online, and he also wants to do potentially a young Rambo, which shows his life before the Vietnam War, which personally I can't see. I don't understand why you would do that, because obviously all of his drama and all he's been through kind of happened around the Vietnam War and after the Vietnam War. So unless he's had a brutal childhood, I can't imagine
I think the only thing that would make sense at this point would be for him to do something like he did with Creed. So he's not really the focus, but he can be like almost like an advisor of sorts, like
a
with
mentor.
His character. Yeah.
But
I know that, like, I found out that, because, Stallone owns the Rocky name and franchise. That's his. And I've heard that people have tried to buy him out of it so they can do more. And he's like, nope, you're not taking that from me. That's mine.
Good.
So I don't know if he has the same stranglehold on First Blood or not, like Rambo. I don't know if that's really in his power.
Yeah.
Well, I heard the reason he couldn't be in, I don't know if it's because he chose not to be, or if he didn't get made to be a part of the last Creed film, because I thought he had that dispute with the producer. The producer apparently bought the rights to the franchise, but yet he's the creator. So the producer actually now owns the franchise. Okay. So anytime there's anything to do with Rocky, he actually can only be down as like a production credit or as the creator. I don't think he has any say in anything going forward.
I think his disagreement was with Jordan, right?
No, it was with one of the producers, I believe. But
okay.
Yeah.
I felt, though, personally, with Creed 2, the way that ended, that was like
passing the torch.
Passing the torch. So it made sense the third one just focus on Creed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like you say, if they were to do like you've seen with a lot of these film franchises with the older cast members getting older, they're trying to find a way to pass the buck so they can continue within that world or universe with a younger character. They tried with Indiana Jones with the Mutt character, that character that happened in the Crystal Skulls film with Shia LaBeouf's character, and that was a total disaster.
That was terrible.
I feel like they've tried to do it again with the new one.
I mean, look, I think we all can agree that the sequel that needs to be made is Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. We need that sequel.
And have an Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo in it.
Yeah.
Because it's his fault that movie exists. You guys know about that, right?
What's that?
The only reason Stallone's in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot is because Arnold did that to fuck with him.
The comedy, yeah.
They offered Arnold that script, and he was like, "This is the worst script I've ever read." And then he calls Stallone, and he's like, "Hey man, you got to do this movie. This is amazing." Or he had his agent call.
But see, that's what's so funny is that
Arnold turned it down. You got to.
By the time that Stallone gets to Demolition Man, he gets to poke back when they're like the Schwarzenegger files, and he's like, "What? He was president?"
they've always had a fun back and forth competition.
And
I love it though. I love it.
In Stallone's, apparently they're doing Demolition Man 2. Apparently that's in the works. He's doing a Samaritan 2 off Amazon, which I don't know if you've seen the first Samaritan.
I don't think I haven't seen.
All you need to do is watch my review. That's all you need to do.
Oh, the first one?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to do that then.
I show footage. Me and Kyle Wong talk about it. It was a great premise. Great old retired superhero. It was great premise, but they dropped the ball there. So I'm not excited for that one unless they fix it. So unless they fix the problems, but
so I think, and now he's a reality show star, isn't he?
Oh God.
Yes, they've got.
Well, his daughters and stuff. So I mean, it's okay. I mean,
it's called but it's called the Stallones, and obviously, I know people that like all of that crap, like the Real Housewives of fucking Yin Yang Yada, and
I'm one of the biggest Stallone fans out there, and I will not watch that. I will not.
Look, you just gotta blame Ozzy Osbourne. He's the one that kicked off all that crap. So
now, if Stallone's daughter is actually like good at what she does, is she actually a really good physical performer, or if she's actually a great actress, I personally do not know this. I still am not excited for Cliffhanger 2. Once I found out the plot synopsis for Cliffhanger 2, I was like, oh God, this is going to die.
Is it just her, or is it Stallone and his daughter?
He is, well, obviously he's too old to be doing his own stunts and climbing mountains, right?
Right.
So he gets kidnapped, and his daughter takes over and becomes the action hero and fights all the bad guys and saves him, goes to rescue him. I'm like, dead. This movie, you already killed the movie. Now, if he's with his daughter, maybe that would have been more entertaining, right? But that's just it's dead. It's already dead.
Sumo.
What do you think?
Return of Gorbachev.
Do you think that could happen? Well, I don't know about Alien, but I think Fast and the Furious.
No, because let's face it, these guys are already making appearances in Expendables. I haven't seen the last one yet, but that's where they're all doing their cameos.
A different era of action stars, if you want to call them action stars. But yeah, all the projects you just mentioned, Kevin, and I just threw in Cliffhanger 2. I'm not excited for all of them. There's a small chance Demolition Man 2 might be fun. But if you somehow bullshit it and bring back Wesley Snipes, fuck it. I know
as well.
We cloned him.
There you go. Clone him and bring him back.
Simon Phoenix.
Bring him back. Screw it. Anyway, I don't know. Out of all the stuff we just talked about, the only thing I'm excited for is the David Ayer, Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone project. That's the only thing I'm
excited.
Especially after watching The Beekeeper. That's the only thing I care about, really.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night? They're doing Versus?
Yeah. Next Versus episode tomorrow night on my channel. The Transporter versus the Beekeeper. This is going to be interesting. I think people think it's going to slam dunk. I think they think the Beekeeper is going to win the slam dunk. It's going to be interesting tomorrow.
I think
a lot of talk about Beekeeper. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow before we do it. But
I think
I love the Transporter series, man. I really like that series a lot. So
I think everyone's saying the Beekeeper for the fact that it's like the latest Jason Statham film, and it is a really good film. Yeah, but people shouldn't sleep on the Transporter though. The Transporter is so you need to go to this man's channel.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know you were wearing that the whole time.
Doppelganger.
You need to go to this man's channel tomorrow and check out Versus. And when you do it, have yourself a cup of tea in a Metal Tavern Radio cup.
Woo! There you go. Yeah.
You know me. I like to support. I like to buy the merch. Yes. I like to give it a shout out to you too. But we know First Blood's a classic, so we're kind of all agreed that it still holds the test of time. It's still one of the classics. If you had to rate this now, what would you rate First Blood?
Sorry, I'm showing off with my First Blood steelbooks we got going here.
Oh, he's really showing off.
A+.
So,
A+.
A+, what would you say?
10 out of 10, easily. Yeah. 10 out of 10.
I would say 10 out of 10, 100%.
And this movie's not just... look at how iconic... How many ripoffs did we have? How many Rambo ripoffs? 5 billion other countries out there. We had ripoffs. One of my favorite low-budget B-movie ripoffs is Deadly Prey. Please watch Deadly Prey. The guy cuts the guy's arm off and then beats him with it.
Oh, that kind of stuff showed up on metal albums too, like Law's Rocket. They have that on there. A guy with a big old M60. I mean, it makes its rounds. You know what I'm saying? Contra. If you play that game, yeah. So,
but it's not just about the action. It's the smaller moments in First Blood that make things work. Like the scene we kind of missed talking about it. The scene where the colonel and the sheriff meet in the bar.
Yes,
and they just sit down and talk. That was a great back and forth, you know. And
that's what I like about Rambo. Not just the action; it's the actual dialogue and the conversations that characters have that are just as important as the action itself. And I think for me, that's initially why I was drawn to this. Even though it came out in 1982, I seen it a few years later. There was something about it that I was attracted to it for. And it wasn't until I got older that I seen the meaning behind the actual movie. So it just shows you through time, even if you're young and you watch a movie, you might just watch it for then and just like it for its scope and its spectacle. Yeah. It's not till you're slightly older and you watch it again that you understand it for the conversations and the values and the lessons that it's trying to teach you. Throughout the course of the film.
Yes, and I had the honor of meeting Tu Lam, and that guy's been through the shit. If you look up Tu Lam, you follow him on Instagram, Ronin Tactics. I had a chance to meet him at Comic-Con, and he was on the Kung Fu Extravaganza panel with us, and he had some really awesome things to say. And I watched his most recent Instagram video, and he talked about, someone asked the question, would our military today, how would our guys do today with the training and technology? How would they do in Vietnam? And he answered the question with this. He said that, with the technology and the tactical training and all that, obviously our guys would do great in Vietnam, but during Vietnam times, they did not have, support and help with all the PTSD, problems. They didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me being from the UK, I know people who have people that fought, that went to Iraq, who went to the Iraq War, and obviously this is way after the Vietnam War, but I've known people who still struggle to this day with things they've went through in that war, and it's. And one thing about First Blood, it was one of the first films that I think really put it at the forefront and really, helped you to delve into PTSD, which hadn't been really talked about in the press or out there very much. And this was able to do it. And
I agree. But he said that now we have the support. And now, it's like if only the soldiers back then had the same support that they do now in terms of getting help with PTSD and all that, there would have been a lot more, brothers still around. But
are you able to show that image, Kevin? I brought that image for that album cover. because that just shows you the influence that this shit has.
Over the top too. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's all about, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so thanks to First Blood, it has probably helped a lot of lives later on because it might have helped open the door to conversations that needed to be had. Yeah. But yes, First Blood, Rambo, an amazing iconic character, an amazing iconic film. You give it A+. Me and Anubis have give it 10 out of 10. It has been a blast having you both on the channel.
Oh wait! Before we ended, I wanted to come back to tweaking it. Who's calling? Shut up! I'm hanging out on the entertainment headquarters. Goddamn it!
It's Lady Fat Blood.
The alternate ending. So apparently,
yes, you were going to mention this.
Yeah, I heard Kirk Douglas originally wanted to play Colonel Troutman, but he turned it down because he wanted to follow the book, and he wanted to be the guy to shoot John and take him out. Right? It's like a rabid dog. His master loves him, but he has no choice but to take him out. Right?
Right.
They were like, well, we're not going that way because of the book, because we want the audience to sympathize with the character, right? And root for the character. So Kirk Douglas, that's right, Spartacus, said, I'm out. I'm not doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's seen the deleted scene by now of him doing it. And Colonel Trautman didn't really do it. Rambo kind of did it himself. He grabbed the pistol, did it himself. But now that we have the icon and the legacy of this character, and now that the franchise has made, like Nuba said earlier, he's god tier now. He's god tier.
Yeah.
The last movie, if you want to accept it as a Rambo movie, the last movie had Grandpa Rambo sitting on the rocking chair after he just ripped out a guy's heart and showed it to him, right? It's over. We don't need any more Rambo movies. But now that the American hero, the icon, will live on forever, I now want to see a movie that follows the book, and I want it to border on horror. Here's another movie that if you tweak it a little bit, it could be a horror film. Chinese Connection. Chen Zhen, Bruce Lee's fucking insane. Yes. If you watch that movie, Fist of Fury, he's insane. If you tweak it a little bit, Fist of Fury could be a horror film. All right, if you tweak it just a little bit. I love that.
Now, who could you see starring in that film?
The First Blood remake that follows the book? I don't know.
Well, I know who Stallone wants to star as Rambo. Because I was going to actually I wasn't going to quite end it. I was going to bring up the fact that if they do want to continue with Rambo, they would probably have no choice but to do a reboot. If they're not going to do the vision that Stallone had for that idea for the 6th film. So he wanted Ryan Gosling to play Rambo.
I was thinking about him.
If he has that Ryan Gosling dead face, no emotion face from like Drive and stuff, then sure, why not? I mean, he doesn't have to look like this in the reboot. Rambo
right.
Actually, Mark Wahlberg, he could play the sheriff. I think he would be good as the sheriff.
Hey, this is my town. I'm not giving it up to Rambo or anyone else. Come on.
Then he leads in with a rap. Then, puts on the cap,
Who's going to be Colonel Troutman?
Good vibrations! Yeah!
Who's going to be Colonel Troutman?
Probably, well, not Kurt Russell, Kirk Douglas, but his son, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas? I want to see a reboot because we have this forever, right? We have the action hero forever. I want to see it because in the book, the kid in the woods does not make it. His father does not make it. Yeah, it's a whole different vibe. So I would love to see a new vision, a new version.
I haven't actually read the book. I haven't actually read the book, but I know everybody I spoke to that has said the book is a great read and it's a lot darker than the initial film.
I want to see that. I want to see it.
But do you think anyone's got the balls to do a Die Hard, Rambo where he kills the kid in the woods? No. I don't think so.
I can see the producers now. Oh, we can't sell that. We can't do that.
Or what they'll do is they'll do a scene where Ryan Gosling as Rambo with his, his pink, knife goes to stab him. And then the screen will go black.
The end.
And then it'll turn up. Oh, what's that kid doing dead over there in the woods? That's how it'll end.
Hey, you know, I haven't watched this in a long time. I rewatched it yet the other day so we could talk about it. And if you think about it, that kid and his dad and that whole group is lucky they didn't get fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know why I just originally had in my head that they were just random hunters. Oh no. They were looking for him. Because if you rewatch the movie, the father immediately shot in the air to let the National Guard know. So fuck those guys. Do the reboot. They're axed. They're kill them all. Let God sort them out.
I love this comment.
Do it. Do it.
You can't handle the truth.
But yeah, classic movie. Love it.
Yes. Well, it's been fantastic having you on, Phat Samurai Guy.
Hey,
you know what? This is here. You know what? You helped get the channel off the ground. You know, you were the first person to bring me on to your channel. Like, well, you brought me onto your channel and we did a review of the 800, and that was my first content on my channel. So that was fantastic for you to do that for me. And DJ Anubis has been nothing but amazing support. He's always been there. I've been on his channel and now he's going to be a part of this channel. But for everybody watching, I want you to all follow That Phat Samurai Guy, DJ Anubis, at the Metal Tavern Radio, because they have some excellent content. If you like heavy metal music and you want to mix it in with some movie content, get yourself there. If you want to listen to some fantastic podcasts with some amazing people within the industry, independent directors, stuntmen,
this man right here,
producers, you need to go to this man's channel, Preston That Phat Samurai Guy. As for myself, I'm going to be bringing you some more My Top 10s.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Some more Kaiju Connections content, which me and Anubis are going to be reviewing on Friday the 23rd. This Friday coming, we're going to be doing Monarch Legacy of Monsters review. And I'm going to be doing a Into the Darkness segment with another friend of ours, Anthony Jordan. That'll be on the channel sometime this week. And we're going to be reviewing Friday the 13th franchise.
Yes.
So that's a little bit coming to the entertainment headquarters. But this has been Preston Downey, aka the
Sumo
Samurai Guy.
He's subscribed. Follow Sumo. Thank you. He's leading the way. Follow Sumo. Put it on screen.
Thank you so much.
Does Sumo have a channel?
Sumo, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support and everybody for tuning in to watching. But like I say, follow the Phat Samurai Guy, follow DJ Anubis, and this has been the Entertainment Headquarters. This has been the Retro Classic Movie Shows, and we'll catch you all at the next one.
Yeah.